So here I've got my toe piece. I've worked on this a little, but if you suck as much as me with a handsaw, you'll have to take a lot of material off here to make it flat. So you just get a block plane and you work away. Incidentally, this is a wood called shiragashi. It's commonly called in the West Japanese white oak. There's kind of two species of tree in Japan which are called white oak or oak in the West, and this is one of them, shiragashi. The other one is called nara. This one is the stuff that they use for making Japanese planes, the dai. It's hard and very basically fine-grained stuff. Although it is oak, you can barely see any grain. The nara stuff is used for mainly kind of furniture. You can get that in bigger pieces, a lot cheaper. It's also hard, but it has huge kind of pores. So it's not really very nice. So yeah, you just basically keep working this down. For your plane, you can choose any hard wood, as long as it's kind of hard and relatively stable. Maple, beech is a common, the traditional choice. You can use exotics like, I don't know, ebony or whatever. But it's probably best to start off with something a little soft. I think something like maple would be nice. Possibly even soft maple could do. Hard maple would probably be better or harder to work. But don't be overly picky on your first plane, because you will probably make a mistake. Also, you can see the grain here. This is the sole. This is the sole of my plane. You can see the rings, how they run like this. Ideally, you want them across here. You probably couldn't see in the first video, but that's how the rings should run. It's hard to get big pieces of wood these days, solid pieces for making the traditional method of plane. So that's why laminations are good. They're also a lot easier to do because you don't have to do a lot of chopping with chisels, and you can get a lot of flat surfaces a lot easier using a lamination method. But this particular lamination method is probably the worst in terms of a kind of durability view, potentially the worst method to make a plane, because the glue joints, basically the wedge will be wedging this center block away from the kind of the side pieces here. So over time, potentially it could kind of shift and basically screw up the plane. I don't think that will happen in my lifetime, and as long as you don't abuse it, I guess it's fine. But the advantage of any lamination technique over the solid technique is that you can find lumber a lot easier. It's hard to find, 2.5 inch or 3 inch thick lumber by 3 inch and however long, especially in a nice piece of wood, or a nice timber I should say, a nice species. So basically just keep going until you think you're almost there, and then you stop and check. Now once you've gotten a bit closer, you want to thin down your plane shavings and true it up with a square. So square, and you just basically take it and it should sit square. So I'm still proud by quite a bit on this edge here. So and once you've got that square to the sides, you want to make sure it's one single plane, it's all on the same plane, and after you've done that, you can just check the angle just to get the right ballpark for your particular measurements that you made in the beginning for the marking. If you're not so confident with your block plane, or maybe if you don't even have one, you can kind of do this on sandpaper like I did in my Krenov video. You can just get a sheet of glass or whatever, stick a piece of sandpaper on it, and just kind of rub it back and forth, and that will get you, it will get you the same results, but it will take a lot longer, I think. So take most of the waste off with your plane, and so you just keep doing that until you get a nice true surface. This is the toe block, so this is a 60-degree surface. This is my bed. This is 50 degrees. I'll be doing the same thing here. You can see there's a chunk I kind of missed with my saw, but it just flew off. But yeah, it's simple enough, and you really want to get these surfaces good, like well trued and flat and everything, because this, although this surface isn't so critical, the front toe piece, this is where the abutments will go. It's nice to have a well-fitting wedge, so this helps for that. And for the bed piece, obviously if that's not flat, or if it's at a really bad angle, like if it's only off a couple of degrees, it doesn't really matter, but if you're off by like 5-10, it could affect your cut a lot. But you really want to make sure that the bed is square and also flat, because that's where the blade will sit, and if that's not flat, your blade will wobble around and it will just make your plane chatter like crazy. So spend time to get these surfaces well trued, because in the long run it will pay off.